Yeah, and the story of Kamala Harris shows exactly why Black Americans are more well researched than a lot of people give them credit for. Because Kamala Harris was a danger and she was a threat at first. That's because we didn't know how horrible she was as a politician. But Black Americans, a lot of people don't know this because K. Hyde pretend that she's supported by Black women. But in December they did a poll. Kamala Harris only had 1% Black support. What happened, and the phenomenon that happened is that Black people wanted to support a light skinned woman of color to as president. This is my theory. But then, so people they saw Kamala Harris. She's relatively new. Only had served one term in the Senate. So this is what I think happened, and this is the only theory. Kamala Harris burst onto the scene. Black people were like, oh my God, who is this? A young Black woman? We just had Obama. This is great. Then they look into her record, and then they said, hell no. Hell no. Because so there was that why Kamala Harris like peaked. Like she was like number one polls in like the summer. So Black people was interested at first. They looked into her record, and there was a famous clip that was on Comedy Central, and it was like a laugh track that went with it. It was a joke, and they was asking I don't know the name. He was one of the Comedy Central correspondents. He had like a panel. They were doing like one of them comedy shows or whatever, and they asked this Black dude how he feel about Kamala Harris, and it went viral on the internet. We was like, no, we don't like Kamala Harris. She's the popo, and then it was like a laugh track, and everyone thought it was funny. But if you watch the video, the dude was dead serious. Like it wasn't a punchline. He's like, no, I don't like Kamala Harris. She's the popo. So like word got around her very quickly.
Yeah, it is popo though.
No, I know delusional K-Hive people who are like the most insufferable people ever are like, I just can't. But that's
yeah, Kamala Harris, like W.B. Du Bois warned us about people like Kamala Harris and Barack Obama literally decades ago. He wrote a book, Socialism in the American Negro, and he wrote in that book. He said there's a long-standing tradition where you have Black people who believe that their route to emancipation, meaning how they can free themselves from the institution, is by gaining political power and by using that political power to subjugate those who deem to be part of the lesser classes. So what he was saying was the way like these bourgeoisie Black people like Kamala Harris, Barack Obama, they fear out the way they can get out of this institutional system is to join it and to subjugate their own. And this is a story as old as the slave trade. This is something that we had to deal with for a very, very long time, to the point where even W.B. Du Bois had to wrote about it. I mean, it's famous that you had Black slaves who used to work on the slave patrol because they were like, oh, this is how I move myself up in society, by joining the forces of oppression. So this is actually a problem that the Black community been dealing with for centuries at this point. And Kamala Harris and Barack Obama are just the new generation of that. And that's why I believe that Black leftists need to speak out against them.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And bro, you just educated us on so many different levels. I love it. I love this conversation.
I'm having a good time, man. I appreciate you coming. I do want to, because you guys missed George Floyd, right? Let me just say this. And this is why the Democratic Party, and this is why liberals are so dangerous. And I made this point on my show. I'll make it here. They're extremely dangerous to the Black community because conservatives actually help us, believe it or not. So when you see Candace Owens, when you see Ben Shapiro make tweets like, oh, George Floyd was a thug who deserved to die, that actually helps our cause. You guys know defund the police was minus 30 in popularity, and now it's supported by majority independents and like pretty much down the board, like 55% independents support that. So there was a massive, unheard of shift in the popularity of defund the police. This is because of morons like Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens, who say stuff like, yeah, George Floyd was a thug, deserved to die. Like the right wing, they'll give them claps on the head, on the back. But most people, they see that like, all right, you guys are crazy. You guys are unhinged. And this is why the right always loses the battle idea. They lost the battle idea on gay marriage. They lost the battle idea on healthcare. They lost the battle idea on living wage. Like they lose because they shoot themselves in the foot. So why are we still a right-wing government? It's because of the liberals. So what I mean by that. So unlike the conservatives, the liberals will invite George Floyd to the White House. They will put Black Lives Matter in their profile, and then they will use the political capital they got by pretending they support the Black community to fund the police more. So they use the death of George Floyd, the George Floyd Act, for example, that gives more money to the police. So they use the death of George Floyd to fund our oppressors anymore. So they are more effective than the Republicans at actually keeping the Overton window to the right. And a lot of people don't know this. The battle to defund the police is not a right-blue issue. because we get shot in blue cities. Do you guys know the two top funded senators for the police is Amy Klobuchar and Patrick Larry. I always say his name wrong. They're Democrats, and then like the distance between second and third is wide. So it's like, and then connected to the other issue. Amy Klobuchar had a chance to convict and prosecute Derek Chauvin, and she passed. And you guys don't think that police money had anything to do with it?